Good evening. Welcome to the June 5th, 2018 Yukon City Council.
Mr. June 5th, August 21st.
Oh, man. I wrote the day on it.
Try again.
Okay. So, welcome to the August 21st meeting. Little typo on my part there. Of the Yukon City Council and the Yukon Municipal Authority in the council chambers at the Centennial Building at 12 South 5th Street, Yukon, Oklahoma at 7 p.m. This evening our invocation will be given by Pastor Woody Burpo of the Passion Church, and following the invocation we will have the flag salute. Reverend Boo.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for today. God, thank you for all of your provisions. God, thank you for this great city and how you've provided for us, God. We just pray that you would continue to do great things here, continue to bless the business owners, continue to bless the schools, and Lord, just have your way in everything that we do. Bless all the officials that take care of everything to do with our city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
McCarran,
Here.
Smystrela,
Here.
Yonda,
Here.
Caccini,
Here.
Selby.
Here.
Presentations and proclamations. Do we have any this evening?
None this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Visitors. This section of the proceedings is for all of our visitors who would like to address the Yukon City Council on a non-agended item. Do we have anyone here this evening who wishes to address the council on a non-agended item? Seeing none, we will now recess as the Yukon City Council and convene as the Yukon Municipal Authority. Item 1A on the Yukon Municipal Authority agenda is the consent docket. This item is placed on the agenda so the Yukon Municipal Authority, by unanimous consent, can approve these routine items they wish to be approved by one motion. If an item does not meet with the approval of all the authority members, that item will be heard in regular order. The city manager recommends a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of August the 7th, 2018. B, payment of material claims in the amount of $613,980.95. Do I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion, second. Any discussion? Seeing none, vote please.
Yonda,
Yes.
Smystrela,
Yes.
McCarran,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Caccini.
Yes.
We will now adjourn as the YMA and reconvene as the Yukon City Council. Item 1 is the consent docket. This item is placed on the agenda so the City Council, by unanimous consent, can designate those routine items they wish to be approved by one motion. If an item does not meet with the approval of all council members, that item will be heard in regular order. The city manager recommends a motion that will approve A, the minutes of the regular meeting of August the 7th, 2018. B, payment of material claims in the amount of $524,628.86. C, designating items on the attached list from the Technology Department as surplus and authorizing their sale, donation, or trade. D, the appointment of Michael McCarran as a member and Rick Caccini as the alternate for the Association of Central Governments, ACOG, boards and committees, ACAR Board of Directors, Intermodal Transportation Policy Committee, Garber-Wellington Association Policy Committee, and the 911 ACOG Board of Directors. And E, setting the date for the next regular council meeting for September the 4th, 7 p.m. in the council chambers of the Centennial Building, 12 South 5th Street. Do I have a
Motion to accept.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, vote please.
Selby,
Yes.
Smystrela,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Caccini,
Yes.
Yonda.
Yes.
Item 2, reports of boards, commissions, and city officials. Mr. Crosby.
No report this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Item 3, consider approving budget amendments for fiscal year 2019. Do I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion and second. Is there any discussion? Okay, vote please.
McCarron,
Yes.
Caccini,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Smystrela,
Yes.
Yonda.
Yes.
Item 4, consider awarding the contract for Taylor Park restroom and the community center kitchen remodel and the Veterans Museum remodel projects to Downey Contracting, LLC, in the amount of $609,400 as recommended by the city engineer. Do I have a motion, please?
Motion to accept.
Second.
I have a motion second. Is there any discussion? Okay, and they were the low bidder, is that correct, Mr.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor.
Crosby? Okay. Thank you much. Item 5.
Mr. Mayor, we need to take
Yes.
a vote.
I'm sorry. Vote, please.
Yonda,
Moving right along here to get you guys in there.
Caccini,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Smystrela.
Yes.
Okay, I'm good now.
You're good now.
Thank you. Item 5, consider approving ordinance 1363, an ordinance of the city of Yukon, Oklahoma, adding section 214 to the Yukon City Code, marijuana facilities and establishments, directing codification and providing for severability and the repeal of conflicting ordinances and declaring an emergency. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept.
Second.
I have a motion and second, and I'm going to begin the discussion at this point with our attorney, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You've all reviewed the ordinance. It is a similar ordinance to many other municipalities that either passed or they're considering passing at this time. It is treated, the sale of marijuana facility will be treated like any other retailer. They must operate out of a retail area. They must have a permit, and obviously they have to get a license from the state first before they can open shop. Then they get a permit from the city of Yukon. There are numerous places that these facilities can go. The largest retail outlet area in Yukon right now, as you know, is south of I-40. That's the newest area, and it's expanding. And there's a lot of land out there for more expansion. There's some on both sides of I-40, but the bulk is over on the south side of I-40. There are some restrictions. There are some 1,000-foot restrictions. For instance, there's a 1,000-foot restriction from that facility being within 1,000 feet of a school, whether it be private or public. That comes right out of 788. And now 788 has been codified by the legislature into six statutes. And the statutes also have that 1,000-foot prohibition in regard to schools. There have been some additional things added under this ordinance. The definition of school has been expanded. That includes preschool, it includes elementary, secondary, vocational, trade, college, university. And we don't have a college or university here at this time. It doesn't mean we never will have. And there's some other things that have been added, playgrounds, for instance, and parks. And of course, parks have been excluded or have been within that 1,000-foot also. Churches are within, it can't be within 1,000 foot of a church, and it can't be within 1,000 foot of a halfway house or treatment facility. And I understand there is one in town at this point in time, and I think that's the only one that we have. So that basically covers, there's fees, like any other retailer. You have to have an occupational license to be in business, and that's the way all retailers are treated, not only in this town, but in all towns. So that basically is what's in the ordinance. There's more definitions, but that's basically what's in there. We're trying to follow, we're not trying, we are following state statute and in compliance with both the statute and 788.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are there any members of the council who wish to comment or open discussion at this time?
Negative.
No?
Can we comment after their comments?
Yes. Yeah, I'll open it back up at the end as well. Okay. Okay, with that, when we're going to let the everyone in the audience come up and speak if they wish to do so, and they have a point that they want to bring to us at this time for our consideration. I have some of you who filled out the form. Since it was an agenda item, we didn't necessarily need the form, but it is, I will start through those because those folks stepped up first. So I'm going to begin with Mr. Russell Moore, and he did, I will ask you when you come up to give your name and address as you speak into the microphone, please.
He's got a document he wishes to pass out to the council members. I'll let him do that first.
Yeah, if you need to pass that out, please do so.
Thank you.
My name is Russell Moore of 1505 Birkenhead Road, Yukon, Oklahoma. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak. The information I just passed out to you is the ex parte gamble, which was the 1949 decision by the Oklahoma Superior Court, which basically defines that the charter on a state law or a state statute cannot go outside of what is written in law. The other section I gave you, I highlighted the last page, which gives the law as accepted for the one that the cities cannot change zoning to prevent opening of a retail marijuana establishment, and the only specification to prohibit a medical marijuana business is 1,000 feet from any public or private school entrance. I plead with you to read over the information and give it the utmost consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You want to respond to that, or?
You want me to do it now or wait till they're all finished?
We probably should wait till we're all done,
Okay.
I guess, and make sure, and then we'll go from there. Okay, Mr. Green, come up once again, say your name, state your address.
My name is Mike Green. I live at 9032 Northwest 79th Terrace in Yukon, Oklahoma. I want to start by saying that me and my family have always loved the city of Yukon. As far back as I can remember, I've enjoyed attending the various events that this community is known for. That's just one of the many reasons that when the opportunity presented itself 10 years ago, my family and I decided to move here. I love the fact that my children have grown up here and they love going to school here. I even work in the sanitation department for the city of Yukon. I've worked very hard and put in a lot of time, effort, and money toward opening my own business. There was never any doubt that I wanted my business to be in Yukon. This is my community. The business that I'm currently opening is a CBD store on Main Street here in Yukon. I'm hoping that I will have the option to transform into a medical marijuana dispensary. I believe that the legalization of marijuana is a very positive thing for everybody. It can be beneficial to me as a business owner, to the city for the revenue that the tax dollars will bring, and most importantly, to the people that truly do use it as a medicine. It can be used for anxiety, pain management, arthritis, fibromyalgia, and for many other ailments that are currently being treated by much more dangerous drugs. Drugs that, as you can see on the news, any day of the week are killing people left and right and are affecting families all across the nation. I truly believe that if people had a legal option to what doctors are shoving down our throats, it could cut down drastically on the amount of addiction and deaths in the state of Oklahoma. As I said before, I've worked very hard for the opportunity to be able to open a medical marijuana dispensary, and I beg you not to add any additional unnecessary restrictions that would not allow me to help people while doing something that I so strongly believe in the community that I love. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Nicolette Gossett.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nicolette Alexis Weed Gossett. I live at 500 Tumbleweed Drive. And I have been stigmatized my entire life since I attended DARE in elementary school, being told how bad and shameful even just my name is. I got a little bit older and I realized that it's not exactly the truth. I do have a few questions here, but I was encouraged by a dear friend of mine to give a personal thing. So I'm going to let you know something that happened to me personally. A few months ago, my she was 11 years old at the time, was obviously going through some very personal things within herself and decided to take an entire bottle of Tylenol. She was 24 hours ingested, and we spent a week over in the pediatric ICU. At first, they told us that she had a 50-50 chance of survival. I was going to lose my daughter on her 12th birthday. Thank God that didn't happen, nor did the liver transplant that we thought for sure was going to happen. And I keep saying, you know, if she had gotten into cannabis even, what we're so scared of, the gummies that are not going to be shaped like fruits or animals or anything that is attractive to kids, by the way, we would have never ended in PQ. We wouldn't have been $500,000 in medical debt because of a choice that she, you know, felt like she had to make. But then I understand that there are other cases of kids that have been taken away from their homes and placed in foster homes for anything to do with CBD even, let alone cannabis. So my question is, why would you prohibit a medical facility, medical dispensary, and you're not doing that with CVS or even liquor stores? They definitely don't have the stringent zoning ordinances that are trying to be placed on medical marijuana, and I can assure you the sky is not going to fall. I can tell you that. As a matter of fact, I think that it would be very beneficial to many students, to many people, to many of your constituents. 63%, by the way, voted yes on 788 in Canadian County. So we are obviously politically awake, and we are here, and we look forward to seeing your names on Election Day.
Question. You said what city are you from?
I'm in Yukon.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Yep. Perfect. Thank you.
Courtney Young. Huh? Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak at this time?
I don't live in Yukon proper. My name's Trey Bishop. I live down on Reno and you Stang. All of us would love to actually live in Yukon, but I grew up in this town. And
What was your address, sir?
My address, where
Yeah.
I live now?
Where you live now?
12541 West Reno Avenue.
I'm sorry, what was the first?
12541 West Reno Avenue in Yukon, Oklahoma. Actually, Oklahoma City. It's not a good argument to have on Yukon happenings. The thing is, and Nikki just pointed out, 63% of the people right here in this town said we want this. And you guys are saying, nah, you guys can't have that much. We will have it, and whatever it's going to take, whether it takes a recall of councilman, if it takes a referendum where we overturn your ordinance and we decide we're going to add some things to it. Within 788, do you realize that we can add things if we want? We can say a patient can have 20 plants in their house. We can go somewhere with this, or you guys can be reasonable today. That's all.
Thank you, sir. I assume that's all of the comments at this point. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Okay.
Hi, my name's Chance Wooldridge, 1086 Hilltop Mansion, Yukon, Oklahoma. And I just want to thank this gentleman right here.
Did you get the address okay, Doug?
As of now, he's going to be the closest person that I know of that my mother will be able to get medications and maybe eliminate 7 of the medications that are currently eating her liver and kidney, and maybe give her some restful sleep at night. And I would prefer her not to have to drive all the way to the other side of I-40 and to look for that when she lives right here on this side of town. I mean, she's 73 years old. She gets an hour of sleep a night. I mean, it kills me to see my mom sit there and drop her phone and have to buy a new phone because she's so exhausted, when she could have a medication that would give her some rest, give her some ease, and it could be right around the corner from her. And so if she wants to go to this gentleman, then I want her to get there. I mean, I'm going to be hopefully opening the business myself, but if she would get it from me, but if she can't, then I want her to go to this gentleman because he's right there. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone else?
My name is Elaine Burris. I live at 315 Novak Circle here in Yukon. For myself, I am not a user, have never been. Raised my kids totally against it. I have 2 Iraq, Afghanistan war vets. They're my children, who, without the cannabis, I don't think they'd be here today. I know that this is a medication. I mean, I was totally against it for years and years and years. But I know how it has saved my children's life, honestly. I personally take opioids every day. Due to back injuries, pain management, I would like the opportunity to try something else. It sounds to me like the restrictions you guys are trying to put on this are outlandish. I mean, not 1,000 feet from anything. I mean, a school, a daycare. I mean, it sounds ridiculous to me. That's just my opinion. It sounds like you're trying to just run us clear to the other side of town, which, by the way, put us clear over in Oklahoma City. I would think that the city of Yukon will want that revenue. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, has everyone spoken? All right, Judge Miller, I assume you've been listening.
I have, with great interest.
I
don't have a copy of the case that Mr. Moore presented to you, but certainly this council, like every other city council, has got to comply with the state law. There's not a question in that regard, and in my opinion, this council is complying with state law. Mrs. Gossett didn't understand why you want to prohibit the opening of any of these retail establishments. That's not the case. It's not even close to being the case. You can put as many in as you want to, but you have to comply with the state law, and you have to comply with city ordinance, just like any other retailer has to. Mr. Woolridge, I hope that you find some relief from your mother. I know that's horrible of what she's going through. But if you want to go buy a 2x4, you go to Lowe's, right, on the other side of I-40. We can't have everything right here close to your mother's home. Now, there's no reason why somebody can't put one in on this side of town. They could put in a dozen of them on this side of town. This ordinance does not prohibit that. And a lot of people are laboring under the impression, oh no, we're just not going to be able to open it. That's just not true. Okay? It's just like any other business. There is a way to roll it out where it takes care of everybody's needs and doesn't abuse anybody. And that's what this ordinance does. Now, if down the road the city council should decide they don't like this ordinance, they can change it. It's not set in stone. Okay? This is step one. I don't know where we're going to end up going when it's all said and done. That's all this is step one.
But we have not changed any zoning.
No. There's somebody read that portion out of 788. City has not changed any zoning whatsoever. Haven't invented any new zoning. Hadn't changed any new zoning. That's just not applicable in this case. Doesn't apply.
Now, the 1,000 feet, sir, is that state law?
The state law says that these facilities, well, let me back up. Not just state law, 788 says,
1,000.
and it's been codified by state law, that you cannot have one of these retail establishments within 1,000 feet of a school, public or private. Okay. This ordinance didn't create, wait. This ordinance didn't create that. 788 created that. I'm sorry.
Churches? That's not in state budget 788. There's no restriction for churches.
Libraries.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I can't understand when they're all yelling.
Yeah.
We've got some policemen back there.
Well,
Well,
we
I
need to keep order and
need to stop.
session's over.
Yeah, we all need to be quiet here and go ahead and ask a question. Go ahead.
Please come to the podium.
Come to the podium and give your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Kathy Green, and I am at 9032 Northwest 79th Terrace. And I think what people are saying is you want it all south of I-40. That's not fair to the people that cannot commute south of I-40. 788 states public and private schools. Does not state daycares, museums, parks, neighborhoods. I mean, you're wanting it where it's unrealistic for this man's 73-year-old mother to be able to go. She may not be able to make it south of I-40. That's not fair to her. We need to help these people. Our community is dying by opioids. We have a natural way to save them. Why wouldn't we want to save our community? I mean, this is so passionate.
Have you heard any council member say all of them have to be on the other side of I-40? I haven't heard anybody say that.
Yes, it was on the news.
This council?
It was on the news, and it was in the bills that we've read.
Then you need to go talk to the news reporters that said that, because you won't find that in this ordinance. It does not say that.
Well, I have read that it has to be south of I-40, close to the hospital on Garth Brooks
I would
Boulevard.
suggest you go find the person that wrote that and see where they got that information, because that is not in this ordinance.
Does it say neighborhood?
It's residential, sure. Well,
but is a bar?
That's already in place by the zoning laws in this city that have been here for years and years and years. You cannot put a retail establishment in a residential area.
Well, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. Hold on. We're not doing it 1,000 feet from a bar is on Route 66 is within 1,000 feet. Yeah, across the street from churches, across the street from neighborhoods. I mean, you've got people that get in those bars and drink and drive and have accidents, go to jail, DUIs all the time. And they're still there. We have hundreds of churches in Yukon.
Prohibition within 300 feet of those facilities being close to a church or a school, etc.
Right, but we have hundreds of churches. We have thousands of people. We need to think and listen to what the people are asking for, is all I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you. Judge Miller, any further comment?
I have nothing else, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Now I'll come back to the council again. Shelley, you indicated you wanted to speak about it, or?
I'd like to say, and I'll be honest, I'm struggling. I appreciate those that got up and talked about the actual thing, which was medical marijuana. I'm not talking about legalization, but medical marijuana. I do not appreciate being threatened. I struggle because as I told the council, I am a former drug counselor. My son died from an accidental drug overdose. I am not a marijuana supporter. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about medical marijuana. And it did get voted. And so where I'm torn from is that, do we listen to what I want, which for all drugs to go away? Okay, that's not going to happen. Do I listen to what the people I've spoken to say? And what do I abide by the law? I think Yukon itself is going to regulate. We have a young woman that is trying to open up a CBD store, and as I was telling them, Yukon landlords are not going to rent to CBD stores as easily as they would to a knick-knack store. Yukon landlords are probably not going to rent as easily to a medicinal dispensary as they would to an antique store. But my question is, I didn't hear from a lot of you that that's what we're talking about is medicinal marijuana. I heard that we were talking about marijuana for just people. Will it be abused? Yes, it will be abused, just like opioids are abused. Yes, will you find physicians who are going to just write a prescription for it? Yeah, but we have that today with opioids. And so my dilemma is, do I follow what I, as a drug counselor, as a mama who lost a child, do I follow what the law says? Do I follow what the residents I've spoken to say? And I want you to know I do not take this lightly. I am very, very torn both ways. And none of us take this lightly. For parents who have children who have seizures, for parents who have children who have epilepsy, for people who have anxiety, for people who have these things, those for your mom, it is a good thing. But what I hear too is that it's not just south of I-40. We've added some restrictions. Do we welcome that in our community? I welcome what is law, and the people did vote. It's a very difficult decision, and one that I do not take lightly.
Mr. Caccini.
I'm going along with the fact that the law does state 1,000 feet, and we have gone through the map. We've done everything possible to make it work, and there are places on this side of Yukon that can be opened up, and there are places on the south side of I-40. I have to go along with the attorney, city attorney, who's given us a clear explanation of it, and I'm going to have to go with it.
Early? Any comment? No? Done.
Well, I appreciate all of you being here, and I certainly take everything that you say very seriously. I am for medical marijuana. I believe that a lot of people would benefit from that. I do feel that we do need to follow, that we have to follow the state laws. I think we are, you know, the restrictions that we put here, I don't think that they're that great, because I don't see a lot of retail areas in the areas that we have listed here. You know, the schools, the churches, there's not a lot of retail close to there. So there are many opportunities on this side of I-40 where these businesses could go in. So I appreciate every one of you being here, and I just want you to know that it is a difficult decision. Thank you.
Anything for you, Mr. President? I just think, from my standpoint, I also feel pretty strongly about medical marijuana. I'm not necessarily as enamored of just open marijuana for, like Colorado. I'm really not. But what we're really talking about here is our community and the quality of life that we have here in this community and the availability of things to people. There's not going to be anyone in this town that is going to be denied access as a direct result of what we do here tonight. What we are doing is crafting ordinances that we believe are the best things for Yukon as we move forward, and that we get into a position where something does not work, then we are certainly willing to go back and look at that again. This has been researched very diligently by our attorney and has been worked on very hard by our development resources folks. Certainly we would love to have the sales tax come here to Yukon. You know, obviously we survive on sales tax, but to me it's more a quality of life and where we want our community to go. And I do not stand up for just saying put everything everywhere. About 30 years ago, I had a chance to go to Houston, and I drove down there, and they don't have any zoning laws at all. And their laws down there have turned it into one of, in my opinion, most unfavorable places to live. So we have looked at this very, very carefully. I certainly have, along with the rest. I share your concerns for the CBD oils, as well as eventually dispensaries for those folks who genuinely need that. But there certainly will be facilities here in town, and that we're not going to prevent or deny anyone from going to get medical marijuana because it is the state law, and what we put forth we believe complies with state law, and also it complies with what we believe moving forward in our community is the right way to look at this right now. It's not forever, but the bottom line is that we can change those things. An ordinance is just a way of looking at it. And certainly, in my opinion, that's the way I feel. That's where I come down with it. I've certainly seen the scourge of drugs throughout the country, and certainly Yukon is very conservative. It is mostly residential, and so therefore we feel like what we've done here is the right thing for the community in what we've proposed at this point. So therefore I'm going to cut off the discussion at this point, and we'll call for a vote, please.
Caccini?
Yes.
Smystrela?
Yes.
Yonda?
Yes.
Selby?
I have to vote the way the people have talked to me, and I have to vote no.
McCarron?
Yes. Okay. Item 5A, consider approving the emergency clause for ordinance 1363.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, vote please.
McCarron?
Yes.
Selby?
Because you all voted for that, I will vote yes for it because it did pass. Thank you.
Smystrela?
Yes.
Yonda?
Yes.
Caccini?
Yes.
Item 6, consider approving ordinance 1364, an ordinance of the City of Yukon, Oklahoma, amending the code of ordinance of the City of Yukon, Oklahoma, by adding a new Chapter 60 Communication Towers, adding a new Section 60-1, Intent, adding a new Section 60-2, Purpose, adding a new Section 60-3, Definitions, adding a new Section 60-4, Existing Towers or Antennas, adding a new Section 60-5, Interpretation and Applicability, adding new Section 60-6, Setback and Height Requirements, Lighting, Advertising and Sign Restriction, adding a new section 60-7, location requirements, adding a new section 60-8, conditional use permit required, adding a new section 60-9, application requirements, adding a new section 60-10, appeal to board, adding new section 60-11, removal of abandoned tower requirements and bond requirements, adding new section 60-12, screening, landscaping, fencing, and access requirements, installing overhead or underground electrical power lines, fiber optics or other utilities, adding section 60-13, permit requirements, adding new section 60-14, inspection and testing, adding new section 60-15, non-interference, adding new section 60-16, insurance and hold harmless provisions, adding new section 60-17, penalties, adding new section 60-18, enforcement, adding new section 60-19, repealer, adding new sections 60-20 through 22 as reserved, providing for severability and declaring an emergency. Do I have a motion, please?
I make a motion.
Second.
A motion and second. Is there any discussion? Okay. I don't see. Is Mr. Hort back there? You want to comment on this? This is just updating all of our.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is something we've been working on for quite some time. Basically, this is an ordinance that we're bringing forward to you for communication towers, and then we're talking about the cell towers.
Yes.
It talks about basically the where, what, when, and how. As you notice reading all the sections, we want them to co-locate if possible, so trying to get them to co-locate if
So most of this is an accommodation for co-location, is that what we're saying?
Yes, that's correct. If you have other questions, I'll address them.
Okay, well, I noticed it came through the Planning Commission. As
Yes, we did
5-0
review
vote.
it through the Planning Commission as well.
And I assume we're still working on small cell.
Small cells, a different technology, and that will be coming forward too. That's correct.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none. Vote, please. Thank you, sir.
McCarron,
Yes.
Smystrela,
Yes.
Caccini,
Yes.
Yonda,
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Item 6A, consider approving the emergency clause of ordinance 1364. Do I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? Seeing none. Vote, please.
Caccini,
Yes.
Yonda,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Smystrela,
Yes.
McCarron.
Yes. Item 7 is new business. Do we have any new business this evening?
None tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Crosby, did you have anything additional for us this evening?
No, sir.
Okay. I didn't give you much of a chance earlier. So, item 8 is council discussion. Councilwoman Yonda.
Nothing further this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Councilwoman Samaiskala.
Nothing either.
Okay. Councilman Caccini.
I just want to thank those folks that unfortunately left too early for us to say thanks for showing up. It's always nice to hear from the folks out in the field, and I hope that they have to understand that we're not limiting their ability or capability of opening a store. We're just restricting some of the areas, and they can open up anywhere they want as long as they follow the law. Thank you.
And for myself, I want to say thank you to all the folks that did come tonight. And,
Have I said enough already?
no. You know, I started off with June the 5th, so I
I
Ms.
just
Shelley.
wanted to thank everyone who came out, and I love that we live in a democratic society where we can have differing opinions and still respect each other. Make the most of your tomorrow and be kind to one another, please. Now.
Thank you. I would just say congratulations to Mr. Caccini for willing to go down to the ACOG group in my absence whenever I'm not here and be up there. It's always tough to get folks to always stand up and be a part of their community. And I think at this point, seeing no other business before the council at this time, we are adjourned.